following announcement has been paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hello, ladies. Remember me? Let me talk to you, dummies.
It's now time
It's beer time. TikTok.
It's showtime!
for the longest running wrestling talk show in history.
We are huge. It's gonna be cool.
You're where it's at.
You smell like me.
Tune in each and every week.
You better keep listening, or I'll come out of your computer
And turn it on for you.
or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in.
We've been known by a few names.
The needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few.
The interactive interview,
Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Interactive interview.
The interactive interview. Interactive interview. The interactive interview.
interactive wrestling radio,
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive radio.
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive wrestling radio.
The Blaze,
Blaze 1260 AM.
The Blaze.
The Blaze.
Blaze. The Blaze Rock.
and a lot of other names.
Weekend Warrior of Wrestling. The Pile Driver. The
Epicenter Wrestling Center.
3 Count Wrestling. The Hour Slam.
But it's all one show, the Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter.
The Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter, dude.
The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And your host from day one,
By ignorance or arrogance.
James Walsh.
Wake up, sleepyheads.
Dr. Carol S.
It all starts
What a rush. Oh, Boomer Sooner.
Thank you very much.
I got 2 words for you. Thumbs down. Breaking necks and cashing checks. I've heard a lot about you guys.
Check it out. Get out of my face. You win!
But I'm desperately out of time!
So what you gonna do when Blaze of Mania runs wild on you?
now.
Welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio. On the Newsmaker line with us right now are 2 guys who have made just a few headlines in the past few weeks. Of course, I'm talking about the newcomers to Impact Wrestling. Well, one's a newcomer, one's a returning gentleman. The Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson. Are you with me, gentlemen?
We're here.
Such a pleasure to have.
Yeah, we're here, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just for their recognition purposes, could you guys say hi? So, Karl, could you say hi first so folks know the voice?
Hey, guys. Karl Anderson here. What's cracking?
And Doc, are you there, sir?
Gallows here.
All right, Doc Gallows. Good to talk to you guys both. All right, so I guess it's been a heck of a few weeks here for you, making a lot of headlines with your Impact Wrestling debut. So let's talk a little bit about Slammiversary and how was the experience of appearing for Impact Wrestling?
You know, it was Karl here. It was really cool just to be able to do that after, being released in April and just kind of trying to think of, what's going to be the next step. And literally was on the phone with Scott D'Amore about an hour after everything went down. And just to be able to, be involved with Slammiversary and as big as it ended up being, it's just one of my top moments in professional in the 20 years that I've been doing this. And it was really exciting to be a part of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It was great. It was a ton of buzz generated, and the pay-per-view delivered. Anniversary delivered. You saw the numbers that came out social media-wise. I think the same way with when the buy rates and stuff like that come in. So we were super excited to be there, super excited to be a part of it, and very excited about the creative freedom that we now have.
Absolutely. You mentioned creative freedom, and I wanted to ask you guys, why did you choose Impact Wrestling? What was so alluring about Impact above all the other options that I'm sure were at your guys' disposal?
We've had a good go ahead, Gallows.
It's okay. I think that we both can agree that, Scott D'Amore and the Impact team, we're very very gracious in adding things into this contract that we wanted, like a carve out to make our return to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which we plan to do, where they can move some dates around and stuff like that for us to be able to do that. But also the support, the co-branding is a huge thing for us. We got lots of outside projects. Obviously, Talking Shop of Mania, our pay-per-view that airs August 1st and Saturday at 9 p.m. And them being willing to support us on the front. It's advertising for us, so it's kind of it felt right for us to wear their hat and them to wear our hat. And early on in this relationship, I don't think we could be any of that, because I think we're going to work together, and this team's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
All right. Now, you mentioned talking shop. I mean, there's so much that you guys are involved with. You guys are probably the most busy of that crop of guys that left WWE in the way that you did. So could you tell me a little bit about Talking Shop, maybe the pay-per-view and the beer brand?
Well, Talking Shop is our podcast.
Talking Shop of Mania. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Talking Shop is the podcast that drops every Sunday morning on the MLW network. You can search it on all podcast platforms. And from that, we always include these different characters that we always have. Like Gallows and I end up making each other laugh on the road all the time anyway. We make other people laugh. It's just kind of what we do. It's what we enjoy doing. And Talking Shop of Mania ended up being Gallows' brainchild about an hour after we got fired. And he realized he wanted to run a pay-per-view in his backyard, and he wanted to make it a parody of professional wrestling and really just be as creative and as funny as we know that we can be. And we've always said that if things are making us laugh, like, then you're making our fans laugh, because our people that follow us seem to find the stuff that we're doing funny when we're being, our most creative. And Talking Shop of Mania came from Gallows' brain, and I'll let him explain in his insane brain how he came up with it. And it's actually an insane genius.
It's just, we're coming off of the Boneyard match, which is this epic thing in professional wrestling. It's the first time AJ Styles and The Undertaker meet, but it has to be filmed cinematically. So, as Karl said in an earlier interview, I don't know that it would have been received as well. If we would have been at Raymond James Stadium and had 80,000 people there, they wouldn't have done a cinematic match. But because of this pandemic, because of the way the world is, those guys had to make the best out of, the situation that they were given, and they did a great job of it. Here we are 12 days later, 11 days later, whatever, we're on this list of releases, and I just thought, with the big personalities that we have, if we don't parody this, we're missing a huge opportunity. And then as we started to talk about it and thought of some other characters we wanted to involve and the cameo appearances, and you're going to see a lot of people that you've seen in very serious television roles in professional wrestling step away from that and just embrace the comedic side of wrestling, which is something that we all grew up loving. So, take this with a grain of salt. Enjoy yourself. It's supposed to be fun. It's not to disrespect or make fun of anyone. It's a good time, and I think it's going to go down in history as wrestling's greatest parody.
Absolutely. Is this in kind of the same vein as Southpaw Regional?
No.
Completely different.
This is the TVMA version. Southpaw, I believe, was basically stolen from a lot of the Sex Ferguson stuff that I have always done. I think a lot of people thought that was kind of funny within WWE, and we were able to do it, but they cut a lot of our stuff out of it, and it's not nearly as funny without the colorful language. This is an adult-themed product, and I think that's part of what makes it funny. In each era where we're not saying things on television, pay-per-view outlet where there is colorful language, there is colorful innuendo, it's for your smarter adult fan to enjoy, and I hope that they do.
All right. Well, back to Impact.
I always wanted to say, sorry.
Go ahead. You go ahead, sir.
Southpaw Regional Wrestling wasn't as funny as it could have been. And I think when me and Gallows had a chance to watch it back, we were like, oh, man, it could have been so much funnier. But they ended up including some different things that didn't need to be that way. And I think Talking Shop of Mania and our world is going to take it to a different level that will be funny. But that's that.
Awesome. Well, I've only got to hear about 30 seconds of it, but I got to say, and it's a weird question, I acknowledge that in advance, but your guys' theme song somehow oddly gets stuck in your head almost instantly. What is it, and did you guys pick it?
Well, it's the Devil's in Your Six, and it's something that I was putting out on social media, and our friend Rocky Romero, who's talented in more ways than I'll ever be, said this should be a song, and he went to work putting it together, and we absolutely loved it when we heard it, and then he cleaned it up and made it even better, and it does, like, it's funny to say this, but I get stuck in my own head when I hear it, which I think is a good thing. And I know that it drops tomorrow on Spotify. You can pre-order it now, and I think it'll be available on a lot of different platforms and stuff, so you can grab that song and have it stuck in your head all the time, we hope.
Awesome. And we mentioned cool theme songs. Aces and Eights was a cool theme song as well, and they kind of pushed that button a little hard heading into Slammiversary about a possible reunion of Aces and Eights. Did you guys still think that is a possibility to happen in down the future, or do you think that was just to whet the appetite of the classic TNA fan?
I think that it was a bit of a teaser, but this is professional wrestling. You can never say never to anything, and I think that at Impact we're going to deliver what people want to see. So it would depend on who's playing the roles and who's going to be involved. But I mean, you can never say anything. But yeah, that was definitely that theme song was a cool one too. That one was one that used to well, like our Bullet Club theme in Japan, one of the best wrestling songs ever. Very underrated.
Absolutely, I agree with that too. Absolutely. So it's probably difficult to describe because everything's a little different right now, but what are the major differences backstage from your last, this is for Doc, by the way, just no offense, Carl, you'll get the next one, I promise. But what is the major differences between your time backstage last time around with Impact and this time around?
It's just a different cast of characters. I mean, literally, it's a very, very different locker room. I'm trying to think if there's anybody there now who was there when I was there the first go around. Maybe Chris Sabin, I think he was still there when I was there. But I mean, other than that, Hernandez is back now. But other than that, it's completely different. And there's a lot of new up and coming young talent that we weren't real familiar with, but we got a dose of at Slammiversary and over this last set of tapings that, I think I can speak for both of us and say we're very impressed with. I think that there's a huge upside. I think there's huge potential there. It seems to be a really good locker room. It seems to be a good team, with a mix of veterans and young up and coming talent. So it was a welcome feeling, and we enjoyed ourselves.
All right. And Carl, you guys will be taking on Reno Scum tomorrow on Impact Wrestling on Access TV. What is your thoughts heading into tomorrow night's big in-ring debut for the Good Brothers?
It's exciting because it was for us to be in a different environment because all we did was wrestle in Japan together for 3 straight years, and then we went to the WWE for 4 straight years, and it was like, we thought we were going to end our career in the WWE, or at least that was our thought process when we signed a new long-term, multi-year contract, and to go into the Impact Zone and be in there was like a breath of fresh air, man. And it was just exciting. You're going to see the Good Brothers be the Good Brothers. I mean, it was just, and you're going to see us with a renewed passion and happiness that we lost, in the last couple of years. And so and Reno Scums are good, talented guys that we've known for a long time. And it's something definitely to tune into.
All right. And Impact Wrestling is full of just young talent just coming off the rafters, and almost literally with their in-ring style, Ace Austin being one of them, and so many others. Any of the guys that you are looking forward to most stepping in there with that you haven't yet?
Yeah, 100% I want to get in there with Eddie Edwards. I mean, I've known him for a long time, and I want to get in there with him. He's the Impact champion, and that's, at the end of the day, that's both of our goals is to be the champion. We want to be tag team champions. We want to be the heavyweight champion. We want to get as many eyes on this brand as we can. And I just talked to Ace Austin, over the tapings, and he's 23 years old, man. I mean, how much and as good as he is at that age, like I was always pretty good. I don't think I was that good at 23, but that's how much potential he's got, and it's impressive with that locker room, and we're beyond excited to be there, and like we want to be there for a long time now. We want eyes to be on Impact, and we want to start, getting our friends to start jumping ship and coming over there.
Right. There was a ratings report that just came out last week. Usually don't see ratings reports for Impact Wrestling. I don't know what the reason is for that, but you guys don't really see that. But the ratings look pretty good. You guys have definitely moved the needle upwards. Do you guys take a lot of credit for that, or you just think it's a group effort?
Well,
it's us. It's us.
I don't understand
we did
exactly
that.
how the ratings work, but I was on a call with an Impact executive yesterday who was explaining to me that wasn't even all the way accurate. We actually did a little better than that. So I think that the inclusion of the new faces and the already hard-working roster is a recipe for success there. Don't sleep on Impact. If you've been sleeping on Impact, it's time to wake up and change the channel. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., Access TV on the Twitch app worldwide. Tune in, watch this show. Give it a chance, because I think you're going to keep watching. It's going to be great.
All right, I'm glad to see you guys in Impact. I have one last question for you, then I'll let you guys go. It's probably the question. It's the elephant in the room, or if the elephant was allowed in the room. And are you guys excited to see a return to potentially, as we're hearing little bits here and there, maybe having some kind of a live crowd in the near future, maybe by the end of the year?
Absolutely.
It's very, very, very exciting. I'm a wrestling promoter here in the state of Georgia as well. We're going to try on August 22nd to do like a socially distanced drive-in wrestling show, because it's just the area is hungry for it. I think the world's hungry for it. And hopefully when it's safe enough, absolutely. There's nothing like, the adrenaline rush you get from performing in front of a live crowd. And I think the crowds are going to be even more engaged than they were before, because there's a hunger to get out and do stuff and to be entertained. So that's what we're looking forward to.
All right. Last favor, can I ask from you guys a station ID, a liner, just saying this is the Good Brothers. You can put your own spin on it, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
This is the Good Brothers, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
The preceding announcement was paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
On the listen, and if you like what you heard, I'm glad. If you didn't like what you heard, well, go fuck yourself.
Most people done hung up on me.
We had a lovely conversation.
What a show.
Oh, mercy, Daddy.
On the radio dial. Don't hang up. Bye-bye.